Hello out there. This is NerdFu. I am Ginger Jesus. So, I was born in the Pentecost, raised Pentecostal. I bring this up because in the Pentecost, one of the first things you are taught to do is to put yourself into a post-hypnotic state. We do that by speaking in tongues. Maybe you've heard of it. It's a strange concept and incredibly easy to learn, incredibly easy to do, and quite frankly, incredibly scary that somebody can have that kind of power over thousands of people in a room. Now, I'm now in the martial art world, the Tai Chi world specifically, which is just full of con artists, just like so full of con artists. And they're all going to tell you about chi. Now, not all of us are con artists. There are some good ones out there, in fact, a lot of them, but we're not talking about them, are we? We're talking about we're talking about the con artists. Now, I have another story for you, and this is relevant, and I want you to just follow along because I'm coming to a point here. In my youth, I wanted to be an actor. So, drama school, drama classes in school and whatnot. And one of the things we learned there was how to use the projection of our voice to influence other people. So we would stand in front of somebody else and we would say, step forward, step backwards. We would try to get them to take a step in a direction using the power of our voice, of our projection, and try to impart on them some kind of lack of will. And it's also not hard to do. It's incredibly easy. And if the person you're training with is compliant, as you're supposed to be in a situation like that, it can feel incredibly powerful. Now that sounds a lot like a lot of the chi training you're going to experience. The throwing of the chi balls, the no-touch knockouts, the stuff like that. So it's important to know that the human mind, both the person doing it and the person receiving it, the human mind is designed to want to succeed, both from the person experiencing and the person performing. And when you're approaching the world with such concepts in place, it is very easy to convince people to allow themselves to perform things that are fake, false, power of suggestion. Then you throw in the idea that a lot of the things we do in Tai Chi can put you into that post-hypnotic state. You stand in that stance long enough, you focus on it long enough, and that can be achieved. So now you've got people who can be put into a post-hypnotic state, as well as the idea that people can be coerced if they are compliant. And I realize that coercion and compliance don't work together, which is why it's even weirder, because that is exactly what's going on. So everybody's going to tell you they can help you access your chi and use your chi for power. But I want you to stop and think, does this work if I'm not compliant? Does this work if I'm not helping? And at the very beginning of a Tai Chi journey, the very beginning of an internal martial arts journey, we're going to ask you to use your imagination. Whether you're dealing with a proper martial artist or you're dealing with a con artist, you're going to need to use your imagination. You're going to need to be compliant at least a little bit at the beginning, because we need you to start opening up and accessing the nerve endings in your body and the neural pathways in your brain that allow you to feel what's going on inside your body. And this can only happen if you let your mind know that that's what you're trying to do. And that requires a bit of imagination. It requires a bit of compliance. It requires a bit of trusting the system, which can be dangerous when the person teaching you is teaching you a dangerous system. So when you go out there in the world and you start talking to people and start trying to figure out what's going on and start trying to figure out what your place is inside the internal martial arts, whether it's Tai Chi or Bagua Zhang or anything else, understand that compliance and trusting the system both need to be taken with a grain of salt. That's it. I'm Ginger Jesus. This is Nerd Foo. Be good to yourselves out there.